Welcome, Climate Viewers, to another Sunday chat. It's Jim Lee from ClimateViewer.com. And a couple things going on. First, anonymous official YouTube channel dropped a video mentioning me. And we might get into some of this Smart City, WEF, World Economic Forum, Maui, ideology. And of course, the big story for today that I want to talk about is the Chinese Biolab that was recently shut down in Reedley, California. At one point, we were talking about Ukraine and biosafety labs, bioweapon labs, in Ukraine. And it was a big deal. So I started to map out all of the bioweapons labs. Why are you saying two audios? There should not. Is there a double audio? There should not be a double audio. Is there a double audio? Or are you just screwing with me, Tom? Just in case, I'm gonna double check my routing on my soundboard. Shouldn't be a double audio. That's just you, bruh. That's just you. Thank you. I like this shirt too. So, real quickly, I'll just show this. So, this is on Anonymous Official, and they have 3.7 million subscribers over there. And right here, you see this video with a plane dumping some chemicals, and it says, Anonymous, it's time to talk about this. Now, just to be clear, Anonymous didn't make this video. And for those who don't know, that I clearly had a past with, the thing. But that being said, I'm looking at this going, all right, so obviously this anonymous official channel just grabs videos from other people on the internet. So as a piece of homework, I hope that you guys can figure out who originally made this video, because I'd like to personally thank them. They did a pretty phenomenal job, and kind of goes like this.
Weather from Hurricane Sandy to the Alberta floods. We're seeing more examples of extreme weather.
In the United States, authorities have warned of epic amounts of rainfall as Florence, now a tropical depression, continues to cross the Carolinas.
Now, this first portion of the radar cycle, fairly bland and typical, but then you see these bands of very distinct cloud cover moving into the region. That is not rain, that is not snow. Believe it or not, military aircraft flying through the region is dropping chaff.
To the growing danger in the Philippines, authorities are now warning that an active volcano could possibly erupt again.
This was the deadliest tornado outbreak in the
U.S. A 6.4 earthquake and multiple aftershocks.
Small bits of aluminum, sometimes it's made of plastic, or even metallicized paper products, but it's used as an anti-radar issue, and obviously they're up there practicing. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
Something that is vastly observable, but yet so hidden from the public. For example, when was the last time you've seen a natural cloud? You know what I'm talking about, a roundish, puffy cloud. When was the last time you've seen natural skies? When was the last time you've ever experienced natural weather? We all have asked ourselves this one question. What is wrong with our weather, or with the weather?
But first, the question we get asked the most, just how bad will this winter be?
Well, in this documentary, I will show you, and I will answer this question by exposing a reality so great about weather modification or weather manipulation. We will expose who's behind it, why are they doing it, for what purpose, and how it's being done.
Wait, that looks familiar. So, of course, in the last video I put out, a guy by the name of Kirby, and I think it might be the Kirby that I know locally, Kirby said, dude, you're on an Anonymous put a video out with your stuff on it. So immediately I see my 10 technologies to own the weather. And it says 2018 on it. So I know this is an older video. Okay. But the guy goes on to, go through pretty much my entire timeline. It's got Michio Kaku in it, talking about HARP, talking about General Dryenforth, all the things, where he was CW Post and Pluviculture in there. And this is Dryenforth. Here's the post. That's actually a picture from my website. So I just kept seeing all this stuff from my website, and I'm going, and then, Charles Hadfield, the Rainmaker, Charles Mallory Hadfield. And the list goes on. It talks about the Steiger Vortex cannons, Operation Fido, Vincent Schaefer blowing into a freezer. And, I'm just going, okay, so yeah, this guy definitely, he's got a picture, the infographic I created. So I know that this guy has used my website, but I did not expect this.
Solution to have a positive impact against storms, droughts, tornadoes, etc. And a National Weather Modification Policy Act in 1976, published by Congress, it states, weather modification technology has significant potential for preventing, diverting, or moderating the adverse effects of such disasters and hazards. This policy act helped escalate many more weather modification programs, which involve things like marine cloud brightening boats and new strategies to control the ionosphere, which led to the birth of HARP. We'll be covering HARP later on as we continue to unfold who's behind weather control in today's era. Now that we understand where the concept of weather modification comes from and how it all began, we must now figure out what geoengineering is and how chemtrails fit in the category of weather modification. But before we continue, I want to give a shout out to a guy named Jim Lee for providing this information on weather modification. His work is phenomenal. Most of the information that I have gathered for this video comes from his website, weathermodificationhistory.com and climateviewer.com. You can find all the historic information, policy acts, technologies, and more about weather modification in his websites. Anyways, we will now be...
So that was epic. It's rare that people actually give credit at all, and I don't expect it, but I'm always just super, pleased when I see it happen. And the guy did, I'll say this. He not only, went through the weather modification history timeline, he went above and beyond because he took, a lot of the stuff from the timeline, and then, did some additional homework, even had a couple things in there that, I had forgotten to add to the timeline that were from articles I had written. So I was like, you know what? I don't have that in the timeline, but that was in an article. And so bravo to whoever made the video. The thing is, anonymous official did not make that video. So if anybody, maybe you'll recognize his voice, maybe you'll, be able to figure it out based on, any number of factors. If you can figure out where this original video came from, I'd like to know. Interestingly enough, I saw it, just a couple hours after it was published. It was at 99,000 views. And then I checked it later on in the day because I'm sharing it to a friend, and that 99,000 views had been rolled back to 92,000 views. Now it's up to 109,000 views, but YouTube's just like, you know how YouTube works. They just roll the numbers back. They're like, well, we're not going to count that. We're not going to count that watch. That's not a watch. Just roll it back a little bit, or they'll just take your subscribers away. Subscribers go up, they go down. I've hundreds of people, literally hundreds, who have personally messaged me to say, I have been, Boris says, Jim, why is anonymous official that bad these days? The whole movement was hijacked. I mean, with the death of LulzSec, and Sabu basically turning on all of the other members of LulzSec. When Sabu was arrested, it wasn't known at first, and he became an asset of the FBI. So Sabu was literally working in the FBI offices, still doing hacking, still doing, the phone calls, the live phone calls on Twitter. And I was a member in the Anani Ops IRC at that time, and I saw the writing on the wall. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to put the mask down, put my name and my phone number and my address on my website as soon as I possibly can, because this ship is going down. The Lulz boat is sinking. And sure as shit, Sabu ratted out Commander X and all of the other, guys who were leaders of LulzSec. That's LULZSEC for all the noobs that don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You can Google all this. It's Sabu, SABU, LulzSec, LULZSEC. And during that time, you just knew, you knew that the whole movement was coming to an end. And since that time, and I would say that was approximately 2008, because that's when I remember packing, going, this party's getting dirty, I'm going to pull up my pants and leave. That suddenly all of the social media, any of the social media accounts that were run previously by Anani Ops or LulzSec or any of the groups that were, hacking Sony, hacking InfraGard, hacking HB Gary, they suddenly were taken over by what I would describe as extremely far leftists. Just to be as nice as possible about it. Because, in the past, I saw during the Hillary Clinton Trump election, all of the same Twitter accounts that used to be, posting all of this, leaked, hacked, hacktivist data were now rooting for Hillary. And I'm going, that's never been a thing. Like, Anonymous was apolitical. And now it's suddenly become extremely political, so if you want to know if you want to really know what happened to Anonymous, you can come over to my YouTube channel. And of course, you guys who are watching this right now, you're already on it, but, you can come to youtube.com/@ClimateViewer. And on the front page, you should see, and I'll bring it up on the screen right here under videos. There's a couple videos right here: Anonymous, Op Russia, and Cyber War, World War III, and what happened to Anonymous. So if you want to know more about that, I did a pretty lengthy show with, quite frankly, on what happened to Anonymous. It's all the details on that. And then we did a follow-up because after we talked about Anonymous, some really big stuff happened. Like within a week, Anonymous, which had been gone, like literally out of the news, completely disappeared off the face of the internet, they came out, in favor of, war on Russia and all of that. So we started talking about that, like how Op Russia just popped up right after I did the interview. I'll never forget it because Frank called me and he's like, dude, are you seeing this? Like, we just were talking about how Anonymous is dead and what happened to it. And now all of a sudden it's alive and doing all these things with Op Russia. and supporting Ukraine and all this crap. So anyway, great tangent, great question. Look into it. Yeah, that's a thing. DEF CON went political as a whole. Oh my God. So DEF CON and the Black Hat Convention has gone political as well. Man, everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. I swear to God.
Thanks, Jim. As always, great information.
And Lancelot Dufresne, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. So I was on Saturday. I did an interview with Sam Chaney from Weaponized News, and I think we did almost 2 hours. This morning I did an interview with Radovan from the Czech Republic, another 2 hours. Just about 2 hours ago, I did a 1 hour call with Republic Broadcasting Network because apparently a poo throwing contest occurred over my Dane Wigington video between several of the show hosts on Republic Broadcasting Network. So one of the individuals from, that was involved in this was like basically saying, hey, you have Dane Wigington on your show all the time. Maybe you should watch this video by Jim Lee because I don't think you really know that much about the guy. And then it turned into a big kerfuffle. So needless to say, I call Mary Bailey was basically like, could you call in? And I did that about an hour ago. Yeah, that was interesting. So I've had a very busy weekend, and I'm only saying this to tell you that while I was on the interview with Sam Chaney from Weaponized News, if you guys haven't ever checked them out, check them out. They used to be on YouTube. You know why they're not anymore. But Weaponized News, Sam mentioned, he's like, did you hear about this Biolab in California? And I had not. And, of course, he sent me over a document, which I still have not been able to find anywhere on any of these interviews will be coming out soon. Like I said, I just did the one with Weaponized News Saturday. Radovan is, I don't know when he's going to actually post that. I could look right now and tell you whether or not that's actually happened. But it just, if you bear with me for 1 second. Let's see here. No, that's Sam Chaney and Radovan right here. So it's radovan.org. And if he's already posted, that'd be kind of impressive because, we literally did it this morning. But it'll be on radovan.org. And I'll drop that in chat. And yeah, it's not, I don't think it's up yet because that would be really, really, really fast. But he translates, he does dubs of all of his stuff into Czech. So like we had the entire conversation in English and he's going to subtitle the entire thing in Czechoslovakian, which is pretty freaking awesome. And I got to say, one of the best interviews I've ever had. The guy has clearly read everything on my website. It's rare that I meet somebody who isn't at the shallow. Thank you for the super chat. Hey man, I love your name, dude. Lead Slinger. Speaking of Lead Slinger, another side tangent. The other night, for the first time ever, it was about 3:00 in the morning. I was getting ready to go go to bed. My wife had fallen asleep on the couch. So I got up, I said, come on, baby, let's go to bed. And I'm turning off all the lights in the house. I look out the front door of my house, the front window of my house, and I see a light looking in my vehicle. So I had to go grab my lead slinger and run out the front door to try to catch whoever it was. And they pulled up in my neighbor's yard, and I realized that I didn't grab my flashlight. So I'm like, do I go ahead and try to identify these people and confront them that were just in my yard with a flashlight in my car when I don't have a flashlight and it's, there's no lights around at all? I said, nah, it's probably not smart because even though I have a gun and I have a concealed weapon permit and every right to do what I'm about to do, I won't be able to see what's going on in the car. So I retreated back to the house real quick, grabbed my flashlight, went back out, and by then they were hauling ass out of the neighborhood. But yeah, tack light is going on there. That's going to be Mad Jeepers like tack light. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I thought. I told my wife when I got home, I said, I'm going to need a tack light for the, the Glock 17 Gen 4. Yeah, that's kind of a must at this point. So, oh man, you guys have got me on all kinds of tangents. So let's get to this thing. The thing, that Chinese bioweapons lab in California. How did this happen? Gateway Pundit. China-linked Biolab discovered in Fresno, California, had over 900 mice genetically engineered to catch and carry the cornholio, you-know-what. So I got a whole lot of links on this. I probably over-researched this. But to say the least, this is a really shady story. So there's this company called Universal Meditech. And basically what I'm seeing from here is that Universal Meditech issues nationwide recall of Skippack Medical Lab SARS-CoV-2 antigen rapid test kits. So they got in trouble because they were making cornholio testing kits and they were defective. Okay, we'll start there. Apparently, their company was bought out by another company called Prestige Bio Group or Biopharma. Looking into it, there are actually 3 different, companies. Universal Meditech. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Universal Meditech Inc. And I just want to point out for the irony, right here it says made in the USA. And for some reason it's like there's this super, super tiny, you can barely even read it there. It's like it says English and I'm not sure what that says. You can't even see it. It's so small. I think that's actually part of the image. But what a crappy website. Anyway. So they were bought out by this other company called Prestige Biotech, prestigebio.com. The story goes like this. So like Reedley Chinese COVID lab received tax credit $360,000 from Governor Newsom's GO-Biz. The Center for Disease Control, what document was I looking for? I don't know. What did I say? I was looking for a document. My brain is fried right now. I'm telling you what. We'll talk about it later. You guys know, some of you may know about the whole MRI thing that was supposed to be happening. I'll talk about it at the end of the show. Anyway, so of course this immediately comes with a retraction at the end, basically saying, that's not a thing. So update, the Globe has received a request from the blah, blah, blah to retract this. Mr. Purcell said Prestige Biotech did not receive any funding from Cal Competes. According to your article, Prestige Biotech was a creditor for Universal Meditech Inc., UMI, but was never a party to Cal Competes agreement. Also, Universal Meditech did not end up receiving any funding through Cal Competes tax credits. Universal Meditech was awarded $360,000 from California Competes tax credit on 4/11/2019. UMI did not achieve any of its milestones and was not approved to claim any of the tax credits.
Help me. Help me. I'm stuck in Jim's computer.
What? Mad Jeepers. No, don't get stuck in my computer. Oh, Lord, man. Which part? The 1 terabyte hard drive or the 2 terabyte hard drive? I need to know which one to look. Yes, I shaved because Jack Walsh was, of course, the first person to comment in the live chat. And Jack was like, off to the loo with you, Jim. Loo check. Which is British for go to the freaking bathroom and shave. You can't make that up. I love you, Jack. Anyway, yeah, he rides my ass about shaving. I hate shaving, but you know, the guy did send me some razors, so I guess I got to, right? So anyway, may not got some money from Newsom. Doesn't really matter. So what is this place we're talking about? This is an 850 I Street in Reedley, California. So as you can see, this is the building we're talking about. You know, I wanted everybody to be able to see exactly what we're talking about before we get into some of the really creepy damn pictures of what's going on inside the building and all the story. Here's Jack. I know you love me, but out of your sight. It's true. I do love you, Jack. Appreciate you, man. So this is the Prestige Biological Lab, which at the time was, I believe, run by Meditech, which is now bankrupt and owned completely by Prestige Biotech, Biological Laboratories. But pretty big place, right next door to some houses. I mean, like, you got, you know, just a bunch of houses here. We'll get into this whole, you know, there's a conspiracy theory. We all love a good conspiracy theory. So we'll get into the conspiracy theory that, of course, the local news is saying is not a thing, did not happen. And then we'll shoot holes in that. And this is King Canyon Unified School District, which was right behind the Biolab. You got to love that, right? So it's know your neighborhood, know your abandoned buildings. What you think is an abandoned building might be a technically, they'll call it a biosafety lab. I like to call them bioweapons labs, but you know, why split hairs on things like that? So moving along. So of course, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is pretty upset about all this. He wants to know, you know, how the illegal lab in Reedley got $150,000 in PPP loans. Because as you guys may remember, during the whole Cornholio event, the government was, you know, handing out, you know, money left and right for personal protective equipment and things like that. But anyway, so he's looking into that. It has not been determined that this company was not a legitimate business and was operating at least one illegal biolaboratory that was shut down in early 2023. The president, Ken Yao, doesn't sound Chinese to me at all, has not been transparent, and the information provided about its business operations has led to an empty buildings or addresses in China that could not be verified. More on that in just a moment. So we'll let this one roll.
Took down Goliath with a green garden hose.
For the first time, Reedley and Fresno County officials revealed a month-by-month timeline of an illegal lab that's garnered nationwide attention. Thanks for joining us for Action News Live at 5. I'm Eliza Navarro.
And good evening, I'm Warren Armstrong. Through a city, state, and federal government investigation, officials were able to shut down the lab and dispose of all the unsafe products and materials.
Action News reporter Brianna Willis has been following this story. She joins us now with the full breakdown. Brianna?
Yeah, Warren, Eliza, while the company previously operated in Fresno, it wasn't until late last year that multi-agency investigation started out of Reedley. Officials say it was the federal authorities who told local jurisdictions to hold off on notifying the
Mark, is that a level 4 lidless dumpster?
Public until they knew what they were dealing
Bro,
with.
I'm dead.
But they say during the entire process, they made sure there was never any threat to public safety.
But let me tell you, I am mighty proud of our little city. This was a bad player company, a bad actor company that was kicked out of Canada. They went to Texas. They got kicked out of Texas. They came to California, recruited with tax credits, by the way. They went to Fresno, kicked out of Fresno, went to Tulare, kicked out of Tulare, went back to Fresno, kicked out of Fresno, came to Reedley.
Tuesday morning, Reedley.
Try that in a small town. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. So let me get this straight. They were in all these big cities, and until they brought their little Chinese, Biolab to a small town, the small town, you cannot make this up, noticed a water hose sticking out of the side of racist. No, they noticed a water hose sticking out the side of this supposedly abandoned building, and they applied for a permit to do a walkthrough, to do a building inspection, and that's how this was discovered, and that's how it showed shut down. So that's what she's literally saying here. She's having her Jason Aldean moment and basically saying, try that in a small town, because this is what happened. It went to Fresno, California, Tulare, back to Fresno, and then when they came to Reedley, California, busted.
City Manager Nicole Ziba and Joe Prado from the Fresno County Public Health Department detailed the long history of Prestige Biotech, Universal Meditech in the Central Valley. It all started back in 2018 off a warehouse near East North and South Orange Avenues in Southwest Fresno.
When they were in City of Fresno, they did have mice there, and they were doing their operation there as well.
In August 2020, the company had a fire at their East North and South Orange location, and shortly afterward, an environmental health inspector visited the business and found the company did not have a hazardous materials business plan for having ethanol. The permit was then completed in September. In October 2022, Fresno County Department of Public Health staff received a complaint about the chemicals at the Fresno location, but they could not get access.
This is where we last...
Really, they had a fire and they didn't have proper fire equipment in a biolab, and the people in Fresno, the government, was so inept that they couldn't get access to inspect the building. Dude, the bigger the city, the dumber it gets. You just can't get any dumber. The bigger it gets, the dumber it gets.
Heard of Universal Meditech in City of Fresno.
Fast forward to December 2022, when a Reedley code enforcement officer found this green garden hose at I and 10th Street in Reedley.
Our team with City of Reedley contacted the FBI to really evaluate potential public safety risk.
Prado says they found specialty ultra-low temperature lab freezers designed to hold infectious agents at temperatures up to 80 degrees below zero at the Reedley site. After meetings in January and February, and amid a nationwide recall of the company's COVID test, officials were finally able to walk through the facility in early March. And that's when they shut it down, issuing this unsafe to occupy notice. On March 16th of this year, the court granted an inspection warrant.
55 gallons container of ethanol in the warehouse, 6 empty containers of liquid nitrogen. These are all items we started to see once we were able to work with City of Reedley, get that inspection warrant, and be able to walk through there. The live mice were there, and we were going through the warehouse there.
By April 21st, the county issued this first of 3 health orders, and Prado says during this time, Prestige Biotech was communicating with him. 2 months later, on June 26, a judge issued the abatement warrant. A week later, after the July 4th holiday, all the biological materials were removed and destroyed. As of Tuesday, the city of Reedley is finishing up the cleanup effort, including the removal of freezers, furniture, and other medical equipment.
My hope is that by the time we enter heavily into fall, this will be another empty warehouse in Reedley, like we thought it was for the last decade.
And tonight at the Reedley City Council meeting, officials plan to give an update on the abatement warrant, as today is the last day Reedley staff are clearing items from the property.
So that pretty much sums it up. But trust me, there's more. Let me see if this is the article where they talk about the No, it's not this one. Okay. Here it is. This is priceless. So, where's it at? I just zoomed in. There's a local myth in Reedley. There's a supermarket that shut down across the street. There's a local myth that it shut down because mice got out and infected the supermarket. No. The roof is collapsing in the supermarket, and it shut a year prior to this lab coming to Reedley. And there was another, and this is even better because you can't make this stuff up. I mean, give it up for local news, just getting it wrong. A lot of the times. At this time, there's no evidence of business being connected to a foreign government. Now, why do you think they would say that? Does that have anything to do with maybe like the title of this video about it being an illegal Chinese biolab? Jim, why the hell would you put that in there if that's just a myth? I mean, clearly, right here, they're saying there's no evidence of this business being connected to a foreign government. And no, the rats that I'm about to show you that had the, cornholio virus in them, they certainly did not cross the street and go into, the market over there. So what is this supermarket they're talking about? This one right here. They said, well, the roof is collapsing. It says temporarily closed right there on it. Valley Foods Supermarket, temporarily closed. I mean, the roof doesn't look like it's collapsed to me, but, hey, we'll just have to take their word for it, won't we? But yeah, there you go. Valley Foods Supermarket, temporarily closed on Google Maps. But at the same time, they said it was because, it wasn't because mice got out of the lab and got into their food over here or anything. It was the roof. That roof looks sparkling, shiny, brand new. But hey, maybe it was leaking. I find it hard to believe that they shut down a supermarket because it had a leaky roof, but had no clue that there was a freaking biolab right there. Just saying, that's just paranoid me talking. Throw that one out. Anyway, a whole bunch of other articles on this. Lab operating in Reedley shut down after officials found infectious agents and chemicals. Everything we know about the illegal, they had literally 30 minutes apart, articles on this over here on Action News 30 ABC. Illegal biolab found in Reedley also once operated in Tulare. So what were the chemicals? Joey Paisano says. Let's get into that. Because that's the fun part. So God bless him. Sam sent me this. Now this document, it's in the details. I'm gonna drop it in chat just so you guys have it too. And we'll go ahead and throw this thing on the Wayback Machine when we're done here. I've already saved it locally. But this is all the things. So it's literally every single email, every single warrant that was issued, all of it in one document, all combined, including all of the emails between the people involved, all the things. So you can actually dig into this one pretty damn deeply. And as you start to get through this, there's some pretty interesting stuff in here, but let's go to Exhibit A. This is what it looked like inside the building. Nothing weird. This is the water hose that brought it to the attention of the local inspectors. They're like, why is there a water hose going through the wall on the second floor of a building? That's just weird. So yeah, these are those deep freezers that were storing all the biological waste, which, you know, clearly not your typical freezer. Should have been a red flag right there. But anyway, you go through this thing and you're going to see a whole lot of creepiness. Let me come down here. They've got this first section where all of these are black and white. Don't know why, but you can go right on past that and you get to the good pictures later on. And oh yeah, let's go to that first. So what did they find? Because that was what the question was. We'll get to that and then we'll go back to some of the cool pictures. Hold on one second. Have to warn the fam. All right, so what do they have? Potentially infectious bacteria agents present. And this is from May 2nd through May 4th, 2023. Staff at the Center for Disease Control's Division of Select Agents and Toxins inspected the property. Here's what they found. Chlamydia, E. coli, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Mycoplasma pneumonia, general Mycoplasma series, Neisseria meningitis. Looks like meningitis, but meningitidis. Anyway, Nostec species, Spingobacterium heparia. This is fun watching me try to butcher these. Yes, dengue. Up in CT's already like dengue. Yes, there's going to be dengue. Those are the good ones. Stop reading ahead. Up in CT. Bad. Streptococcus, Toxoplasma gondii, but then you get into potentially infectious viral agents present. Oh, here we go. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C, dengue virus, HIV, human immunodeficiency virus 1 and 2, human herpes virus 1, herpes simplex virus, herpes virus 5, human cytomegalovirus, and respiratory syncytial virus, rubella virus, and severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 or SARS-CoV-2. All of these were found there. Potentially infectious parasite present. Malaria. All in a warehouse that nobody even knew was there, and like right across the street from houses next to the school building and the like. What the hell, right? I mean, like straight up, what the hell? So anyway, let me hop down here to some. Oh, wrong button. You don't hold control when you're just wanting to page down, Jimbo. That switches tabs. So let me go back to these. So this is what they found. I'll go back up here. So this is the warrant that was served on April 10th, 2023. And this is what they saw. Let me get myself out of the way with the pictures real quick. Blow this up even more. Looks like I can. And they marked it, do not enter, unsafe to occupy, put their notice up on the door. And this is what they found inside. Lab diet, laboratory animal diet with chewed holes in it. That always makes you feel great. These are the rat holding pens. All the fecal matter underneath, generally disgusting. Lots of trash waste everywhere, just random bags of crap, all kinds of chemicals and just randomly strewn about. Abatement warrant, it says like euthanized, deceased. These are all of the the mice that they found. Approximate total mice at facility 951. Total deceased 178, total euthanized 773. Going down here, and this is what they look like. Just your typical lab rats. I mean, everybody hears the term lab rat, and you never really think about what that looks like. But yeah, this is what they were doing in the downtown of Reedley, California. Pretty gross. And then you got these rats that have these massive tumors on them. It just makes you feel real safe in your hometown. That's what I think about when I see these pictures. Biosafety labs, they call them, or biohazard labs, bioweapons labs. But regardless, they bagged up as much of it as they could. And here they are, like literally throwing it in the back of a pickup truck to take some of that crap off to the local landfill, which, if you start to actually read all of this, and I read most of this, that went south real quickly, and the feds moved in and were like, hey, you can't actually do that. You're gonna have to use very safe precautions to deal with all this. So you get down further in the document, and they start talking about this is the entire sequence of events. Every single document that was sent between the owners of the company, the Fresno County officials, this is the public orders that they gave. And, this is from Reedley Fire Department, even getting in on the mix. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here, but you can see where's it at? Here's some more pictures of nothing like some good bodily fluid bottles, or just completely unmarked bottles like this. Like, you don't even know what the hell's in there because there's not even a label on it. That's how creepy this stuff gets. Good stuff. Oh, what is that? Does that say malaria and then it's written in Chinese right next to it? Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing malaria, and then I'm seeing Chinese writing in Chinese handwriting right there. But no links to any foreign countries. No links to foreign countries here. Just disregard. That's just internet conspiracy stuff. Wait for it, and there it's linked to Chinese. Yeah. It's China. Okay, it's freaking China. The Chinese. Wuhan. Nah, I'm gonna stop. Anyway, all items at the facility that contain human blood or human blood fluids, and all items that contain infectious agents must be contained, labeled, stored, transported, treated, and disposed as a medical waste when they become a waste. Additionally, any items at the facility that meet the definition of a medical waste when they become a waste must be properly contained, labeled, stored, transported, treated, and disposed per the MWMA. A copy of the MWMA can be viewed at the department's website right here. And that's Medical Waste Management Act of California. For reference, infectious agents are defined in here as blah, blah, blah. Medical waste is defined as this. And this is basically them sending this to Miss Shiquin Yao. I believe I'm pronouncing that somewhat right. Definitely, that's 100% American name. Shiquin Yao. Totally American. Not Chinese at all. Nothing to see here. But they also show, like, even the emergency exit doors all around the facility were completely blocked off. That's a door right there in the back. And there's stuff stacked all the way up in front of it. So just like what happened in Fresno where they had a fire, this place was ripe for a fire, to say the least. These are autoclave bags and potentially infectious infectious material bags. There's all kinds of nastiness all through this thing. Here's one of your deep freezers, minus 80 degrees freezing, minus 80 degrees. Yeah, that's a hell of a freezer. I'd like to get my hands on one of those things. But you know, as they said, nothing Chinese here to see. Oh wait, it gets weird. So let's just go ahead and type China in there. And what do we get? On June 10th, David He, super American sounding name, emailed me in response to the amended HOO and provided the contact information for Jiqin Yao and Zhao Wang, which included telephone numbers and addresses in China. Okay. So they were trying to figure out who the hell owned this business and, you know, how they could be contacted. However, this information failed to communicate and identify a representative for Prestige Biotech or UMI authorized to do business in California. So they were saying that these two individuals who were in China were authorized to do business in California. Now, when they asked them, you know, hey, dude, you know, we still need that information. They said it like this. Hello, Joe. This is from David He. Hello, Joe. Could you clearly indicate what other documents have not been provided? And then Joe Prado from Fresno County CA.gov says, to all representatives, the health officer has not been complied with. Previous email noted discrepancies and there's still outstanding documentation. So he's like, hey, what other documents are you talking about? We gave you all documents. Well, thank you very much for your reminder. This is David He responding to him. Thank you for your reminder. The addresses and telephone numbers for Zhao Wang and Jiqin Yao are updated information as following. Totally American grammar. Totally. Are updated information as following. Jiqin Yao is on 87 Zuhao Road, Nankun Town, Qingdao City, Shandong Province, China. And Zhao Wang, her address and phone number 404 Wanges Huang Street, Laoshan District, Qingdao City, Shandong Province, China. So, like, it's funny that they're like, this has no they're like, there's no proof that there's any link to foreign countries being involved in this illegal. We did bust an illegal biolab, but there's nothing to see here when it comes to any foreign countries on the ABC News thing. It gets more interesting because you look at it, you got them literally here in the email chain, and I mean, bruh, that's Chinese writing right there. For this is also courtesy copy to Jituan Guan Li at 126.com. And their name is like in Chinese right here because David He is Chinese and he saved it in his contacts as that symbol right there, which clearly ain't English. And I'm not the greatest at pronouncing, Chinese. I don't speak Chinese. Maybe my daughter might know. She speaks some Japanese, so she'd be completely useless to me. You hear me, Caroline? Completely useless. Learn some damn Chinese, because I could use you right now for that. And don't scratch that. Do not learn any Chinese. Stick to your Japanese. I'm cool with that. Something Wang. Will he fix it? Yeah, y'all so stupid. So anyway, yeah, nothing to see here. Okay, like totally nothing to see here. It gets weirder. So then, as if they didn't want to completely like tell on themselves for being, linked to China, they say this, and you can't make this up because it's so blatant. The official registered address of the company has been listed in the letter of board resolution from both company. Universal Meditech has formally hired a representative lawyer this year, and the contact information is as follows. Michael M. Lynn, DC Esquire from the Lynn Law Group, which is in Las Vegas. Lynn Law Group. The Lynn Law Firm. Lynn Law Firm. I didn't even have to go to the website, and I already knew. I was like, this dude, Chinese. Wait for it. So, of course, I wanted to look it up myself. I said, what's the chances? Let's do a little Zhao Wang Meditech. Okay, so yeah, that is like the most common name apparently ever, because I found like 400 Zhao Wangs just on LinkedIn alone. So we left that one alone. But Ji Qin Yao was not so common. Found a whole lot of, directly. There's her research notes. I didn't even look at that. But anyway, study on absorption, nothing. Absorption ambassador. Okay. Interesting. Boring. Moving on. Where are we at? Lynn Law Group. So who is this Lynn Law Group that we're talking about here? Oh, it's Michael Lynn, everybody. You didn't know about him? This is the lawyers that Meditech and Prestige Bio hired. Michael M. Lynn, the founder of the firm, graduated from UNLV William S. Boyd School of Law in 2006. Looks pretty, Asian to me. But I'm not going to hold that against him. Asian American. Let's just put it that way. He's an Asian American, everybody. Nothing Chinese about this whatsoever until you start to read the fine print. So you start scrolling down, and you can't make this up. Arizona Bar, California State Bar, Nevada State Bar, United States Court. Okay, I'm not saying anything. What are you talking about, Jim? Well, he was a chiropractor before he was a lawyer. But then you get down here to the bottom, and he just professional licenses and memberships. Okay, we're seeing a whole lot of physiotherapy. Yeah, he was a chiropractor, Chiropractic Association. But this is where it gets interesting. Board member, Las Vegas Chinese Medical Association, 2006 through 2007. Can I make that even bigger? Holy crap. I'm trying to make this tiny little font visible on screen. Anyway, so let's just do this real quick. Chinese. Okay. Chinese. Columnist for Las Vegas Chinese News 2001 about chiropractic. Columnist for Southern Chinese News 2001. Lecture sponsored by Chinese Spine Protect Association. Bro, the freaking name of it. Lecture sponsored by Chinese Spine Protect Association of Taiwan in an attempt to set a standard and regulation in Taiwan for chiropractic medicine. Okay. Nothing Chinese. So let me get this straight. They ask them who runs the company, who they should be in, who's licensed to work in, to run this company in California. Oh, it's these two Chinese chicks. What's their number? What's their address? Shandong Province, China. Okay. We got a lawyer. Michael Lin. Okay. He was a board member of the Las Vegas Chinese Medical Association. And his name is Lin. All of this is China, all the way up and down this thing. Now, when I was looking into Prestige Biotech, of course, they have facilities in Korea and Taiwan, as far as I can tell. I did not see anything, as you can see here on the screen. This one, they got this Prestige. They got 3 different companies. This one's in Korea. This one's in Taiwan. And I believe this one's in Singapore. Okay. So take that, however you like. But anyway, moving along. What else do we have here? This is their actual website. One of them, Prestige Biopharma. And, all the fancy things, creating difference, innovation for your life, all the fancy, just boring ass website that you would see made for some company. What do we have here? Investor information. Oh yeah, I was digging up their stocks. I was going to go into their stock owners and all of that sort of stuff, but they're listed over here on the linked ends. Prestige Biologics, also limited. They've got several different pages. Nothing Chinese to see here. We'll just move along. What was the other thing I had here? Universal Meditech. They have nothing. Like, just basically, they're still listed as Tulare, California, but they were kicked out of there because they went from Fresno to Tulare, back to Fresno, then ended up in Reedley, and then they were, busted. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, this is the Prestige Biologics, and they talk about all their plants. Which one is this? Okay. Yeah. That's not the one. That's not the one. Damn it, Janet. But yeah, this is the one in Singapore. So I was right. It's Singapore, Taiwan, and Korea. So that's the parent company that has, I guess, bought out Universal Meditech. But anyway, I found this little interesting note. Sensiva Health LLC versus Universal Meditech Inc. a lawsuit. So yeah, this was dated April 12th, 23. So that's an ongoing thing right now. So there's a whole lot of shenanigans going on. So what are they talking about doing? They're talking about moving a lot of this stuff from the current warehouse to another warehouse, pretty much, like down the street. You can't make this stuff up. How do I get out of this Google Street? I don't want to do that. I want to get out of leave the street view. No. Click that. Will it still be there? No. And we're gone. Back. I said back with you. Go back here. No, go back here. I give up. I swear. Why you make so hard, Google? Why you make so hard? I go to satellite. I go to 3D. And this is the new building. Anyway. So they're moving all of that stuff, all that medical waste over to this new building, which is like right next to the airport, apparently. There's the airport. And, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked around the neighborhood, but in the documents, they say this is where they're going to move all of the stuff until the CDC and everybody can go through it and figure out exactly what the hell's going on there. But yeah, neighborhood right down the street. So coming to a neighborhood near you, Biolab storage unit. right here. And this is on Blatella Lane. And it's mentioned in the document. So that's where they're going to move everything to. You guys know how much I love release them rats. No, you saw in the document they killed. There were 773 dead. No, was it the other way around? They were already 100. No, they're all dead because any of the rats that weren't dead, they euthanized them, according to the document. So all those lab rats now dead. So I'm assuming they won't go here. But all the bottles of fluids, of bodily fluids and dangerous viruses and bacteria will be shipped to this building, and then they're going to figure out what the hell to do with it after that. Now, this just brings about, a much bigger idea. Like, I go back to where I started. Yes, taxpayers are paying for the move. Damn it, Janet. When I was talking about the Ukraine thing and I was going to map out all of these biosafety labs, my seat is slowly like migrating down. Pick it up. When I was going to map these out, there's biosafety lab level 3s. Those are the most dangerous. They're like the Fort Detrichs of the world. Then there's 2s, and even with the 3s, we're like around, I want to say somewhere between 150 to like 300 of them worldwide that I'd come up with. So I made a list. I was getting ready to start making the map, putting it into Google Earth, that sort of stuff, so that I could put it on ClimateViewer.org. Then I started to include biosafety lab level 2s. And my list quickly grew to, oh shit, I'm already at 1,200. I'm at 1,200 different locations that I would need to map. But then I started really looking into how hard it is to find out where BSL level 2s are. And then I came up with a much bigger number that could swell to as much as 3,000 BSLs. Biosafety lab level 4s BSL. Am I getting this wrong? Yeah, okay. Okay, so I have a folder. So thank you. I'm starting at the wrong spot. You're right. So anyway, bookmarks, bars, research, liquid search, biosafety level 4 facilities. Is this even still here? While we're waiting on that, so this is in bookmark bars, research, recent, Ukraine, biolabs, research, recent. The hell, where's my recent at? I have way too many links in here. Did I get that wrong? Research, recent, Ukraine, biolab. Okay, so why can't I find that? Anyway, so here's a copy of the most dangerous one. So obviously, CDC in Atlanta, Georgia, Center for Biological and Emerging Infectious Diseases at Galveston, Texas, University of Texas Medical Branch, Center for Biotechnology and Drug Design at Georgia State University, Atlanta, Georgia. So BSL-4 is the highest. And these are, like I said, Fort Detrick. That says Frederick, Maine. This is Fort Detrick, Maryland. And this one, anyway. So U.S. Army Medical Research Institute for Infectious Diseases, Integrated Research Facility, planned or under construction, all of these other ones here. And then they have, a whole bunch of other biocontainment laboratories. I started just going through these, trying to come up with, all of the different lists. And I wish I could find the folder because the folder actually has them all. So yes, this did come up. And you can see these are from all around the world. Virology Laboratory in Queensland Department of Health, Australia, Queensland, Cooper Plains. These are all in Australia. This is in Belarus. Minsk, Republic Research and Practical Center of Epidemiology and Microbiology. Canada and Manitoba, Winnipeg. China and Wuhan, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Nobody's ever heard of that one. So yeah, I started to just, go through gathering the intel on, where these are. Now, the BSL-4s have the most dangerous, the Robert Koch Institute in Germany, Berlin. And you can see them on the screen. I mean, these are all over the world, having the most dangerous diseases known to man in them. Now, when you get to the level 3s, that's when you get into the hundreds. When you get to the level 2s, you get into the thousands of labs. And then when you get to the level 1s, which this facility that we've been talking about today, this one, it probably would fall in the category of a 1 or a 2. Okay? Because, if we're being realistic, it wouldn't fall in either category because there was no biosafety at all. There was no precautionary systems in place. They didn't even have proper fire protection in there. So when you're talking about these kind of facilities, it's really creepy to think about how many there are around the world when just the Wuhan lab affected the entire planet. So when you consider that the possibility that one lab leak affected the entire planet, and there are this many equally dangerous biosafety lab level 4s around the world, and this isn't even all of them, because every list I've found has been incomplete. So whenever I go to make a map, I literally, and I'll drop this in chat because I know you guys are dying to have this here. Nom data. So I'm eventually going to, get to putting all of these down in a map because I would like to at least get through the level 4s and possibly the level 3s. But again, I'm still scrolling. I've just hit the bottom. Those are, the BSL-4s on just this one list. So the creepy factor of it all is that, no matter what we do, these are never going to go away. And they're not, there's no central website where I can find all of them. Okay. And gathering this kind of information, I kind of just put it on pause. So originally the point was, there was a whole lot of to do about bioweapons labs in Ukraine. And that led me down the rabbit hole of going, let me find those. And then I was actually talking to individuals who were in Ukraine who were sending me photos of the facilities. But unfortunately, some of that information became incredible, I would say. So everybody's talking about Karen Kingston. What's up with that? I've heard that name 7 times today. So that's so weird. I'm gonna have to look into that because that's just everybody. Robert, you got to tell me more, man, because I've heard it from a whole bunch of people. I think Plum Island was only a level 3, to be quite honest with you, which is creepy AF, because that tells you how dangerous just even level 3s are. But getting back to it, I do want to make a map of all these biosafety labs, because I think that people should know if one of these are in your backyard. It probably is something you want to know about, especially when you consider the fact that after seeing what you've seen today in this video and seeing that this was an illegal lab that has ties to China, that was in, downtown Reedley, California, was in Fresno, was in Tulare, California. And nobody knew what was going on inside until it finally hit this small town and somebody saw a water hose and decided to look inside. That really makes your head spin and go, well, how many of these undocumented biolabs are there? That's the creepy part. That's what I'm left with after looking into this little incident today. But we'll move on from that. So that's the BSL stuff. I'll bring that up at a later date. Let me go back to this. So I kind of wanted to a lot of people were talking to me about the Maui thing, and we're going to switch gears just for the end of this, real quickly, because my good boy, Max Bliss, always sending me the fun stuff. You know the thing. So he sent me this. Tell me what you think. The First Global Revolution, a report by the Council of the Club of Rome. Everybody know who the Club of Rome is? You know, I don't have to explain it. So what we'll just do is we'll just go to the good part. So on page 115, in the chapter called The Vacuum, I think this pretty much sums up what the technocrats have been, stating all along as their intended goals. The common enemy of humanity is man. In searching for a new enemy to unite us, we came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. In their totality and in their interactions, these phenomena do not constitute a common threat which demands the solidarity of all people. But in designating them as the enemy, we fall into the trap about which we have already warned, namely mistaking symptoms for causes. All these dangers caused by human intervention, and it is only through the changed attitudes and behavior that they can be overcome. The real enemy, then, is humanity itself. Now, you contrast those words with Larry Fink from BlackRock saying, we must force behavior. And you think about, the idea that humans are the problem. And then we think about, what happens in these massive wildfires. There's the incident in southeastern Australia where a lot of people speculate that, it's mighty coincidental that all of this area burned, and it's also the same place where they wanted to put this high-speed rail in, And it's interesting that Maui burned and that they've been talking about creating this, these 15-minute cities, that Hawaii wants to be the first completely sustainable energy state in the United States, in the world. And I thought this was a pretty interesting video. So I'm going to share some of this.
End of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. This is another important video for anybody out there who's doubting that this fire wasn't created by our own government. I want to discuss what I mentioned in an earlier video, if you saw it, the potential of a smart city. Now, think of this perspective, and I'm going to show you some stuff. There's an article from 2018 from the World Economic Forum that I used in a previous video. And that article is about Hawaii having plans to be the first U.S. state to run entirely on clean energy. And there's another article from the World Economic Forum that talks about our alliance is creating smart city governance. Okay? They aren't going to be able to build smart cities unless they destroy the cities first, because they have to run out the small business owners who are not going to be on board or comply to their smart city nonsense. Their smart city is going to limit productivity, even though they pretend like it's going to increase it. And people don't want to be on board with it. They don't want to be forced into this stuff where they're monitor and track how much carbon you use at your work. This is all what their plan is, so they can shut you down and control you as they please, like in China. So, that being said, I'm going to get into all the stuff about Hawaii and the plans for to be the first U.S. state to run entirely. I'm going to get into the smart city. This is all stuff you need to see, because we all know the World Economic Forum are the ones pulling the strings, right? So if we know that when we see a fire like that, then the second that we hear that the plans are to bring in a smart city, you'll know why it was done. Lahaina is not a huge city. It's very small. It's more of a town than a city, but it's all small businesses. It's small restaurants. It's small art galleries. It's small souvenir shops. People, when they go to Maui, go there for that reason. They couldn't destroy somewhere like Honolulu. And we had the governor of Hawaii, who happens to be go by the name of Josh Green. You can't make it up, right? Green is in green energy. Who was just at the United Nations 2 months ago talking about Hawaii and being the first state to be 100% sustainable. Take a listen to this guy.
Governor Josh Green touted Hawaii's sustainability accomplishments at the United Nations Economic and Social Council in New York City. The governor was the keynote speaker in the forum that included more than 40 presenters from around the world. Green pointed out that Hawaii is in a unique position as an island state and has tried to lead the way in promoting renewable energy.
We tried to lead on energy and climate. We were the first state to mandate 100% renewable energy for electricity. So it's, again, an opportunity as a small state with technically a small footprint, but we do punch above our weight a little bit because of our position in the Pacific.
Speakers were invited to help implement the United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals in 2030.
Keyword, ding, ding, ding. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals.
So that's Governor Green. I mean, this is how in our faces this stuff is, right? It's about green energy. It's the green plan. Governor Green was just put in place in 2022. And the first, less than a year, this happens. He's already just been at the United Nations 4 weeks ago. He was there 4 weeks ago. July 12th and July 19th. He was, through the 19th. That's when he was there. Okay, and he's talking about this stuff. Now, then we have to look at what a smart city is, because a lot of people out there don't understand that it's an enslavement city. They see all this.
These 15-minute cities, this whole smart city, I've said this for years. If it has the word smart in it, it's dumb. Smart meters, smart cars, smart phones, they are all, replace them with the word spy. Spy city, spy meter, spy car. It works. Stupid also works, but they are anything but smart. I don't know who came up with this term smart for all the things, but none of them are smart. They are spies. Just saying.
Tech, and they're like, that's high tech. That's really neat. And one of the things that's going on in our country, you probably hear all these stories, right? Oh my goodness, Oregon's going to crap. San Francisco's going to crap. New York's going to crap. That's done by design. That's done to weed out business owners, to make them leave. They need to build smart cities. They're not going to be able to torch every city, so they need to destroy them economically. Look how many businesses have gone under in San Francisco. Malls going under, street stores going under. San Francisco is a hub. It is filled with rich people. Okay, so this is done by design. We know big tech runs not only out of California, they run out of San Francisco, Twitter, etc. So this is done by design. The World Economic Forum, their whole goal, our alliance is creating smart city governance, okay, which is control, right? Which means you don't leave the city. You stay in the city. Where you go, we say you go, right? You think this is all coincidental? I guarantee you that they're going to come out and they're going to announce when they start with the rebuilding plans for Lahaina, that Lahaina is going to be the first U.S. city that's a smart city. And it makes sense that they would choose Lahaina, one, because it's small compared to doing it in the Midland, and two, because it's not in the continental U.S., okay? It's over in an island. So they're not going to be heavily monitored. It's pretty liberal over there. So they're going to be able to do that and experiment there and make sure they tweak everything the way they want to tweak it without doing it right here in the heartland. But then it will be coming eventually to San Francisco and Oregon and Los Angeles. All these cities that they're destroying are going to turn into these smart city bubbles. And if you don't know what it looks like, here's a layout of the smart city. I'm going to show you a video clip. And keep in mind, this is them talking about it happening in Toronto. Because, of course, we know the same thing is happening up in Canada with Trudeau, who is a World Economic Forum puppet, who is in the global leadership groups, the youth groups, et cetera, who's been groomed from a young age to destroy his country, to give it the globalist image now, which would be a smart city. Take a look at this hell on earth.
Does this look familiar? Sitting in gridlock traffic, rushing from work to appointments, going to be late for dinner again. The road rage kicks in. This is the life we're used to. But what if life could look like this? An oasis of green parks, endless sidewalks, and empty roads. Impossible? Well, it's actually the concept behind the 15-minute city.
15-minute city, or the 15-minute neighborhood, is certainly something that's become very much, you can say, in vogue recently.
Paris is working towards it, so is Barcelona and Portland, and now Vancouver also has a plan in place.
Big new move number one was that we build a city where, for all residents in the city, 90% of your daily needs are within a walking distance.
When I put the closest grocery store in my GPS, it's more than a 30-minute walk away. But in a 15-minute city, I could walk to the grocery store, post office, doctor's appointment, gym, hair salon, dentist, you name it, all within, you guessed it, just 15 minutes. A solution not just for gridlock on the streets, but also for carbon emissions. In fact, the goals of creating a more walkable city were announced as part of Vancouver's recent Climate Emergency Action Plan. And the Vancouver Plan and Project team are already in the process of figuring out what neighborhoods should look like and how to translate that into land use strategies.
Just look at your neighborhood and look at your walk score. The walk score actually just tells you how many good things you're a short walk from. Where we get really low walk scores are in the parts of the city that are largely suburban. And so there's some sections where, single-family homes are really far from a lot of retail. And in those areas, the actual answer is to deliver more of those commercial services to them.
The Plan and Project team will be addressing council with options as early as July, and they'll also have some pilot project ideas. But for this plan to really work, you don't just need to change the city.
To meet the environmental goals that the country, the province, and the city have committed to repeatedly, is to change behavior.
So in Vancouver's latest Climate Emergency Action Plan, they announced new incentives to drive less, like connecting cycling and walking networks citywide, in hopes that 80% of trips by 2030 will be made either by foot, bike, or transit. They also announced disincentives for driving, like implementing transportation pricing in the Metro Core and creating a carbon pollution surcharge on residential parking permits. But all of this takes some time.
Cities change slowly over time because you actually have to build them.
The team says they're looking at how to move Vancouver towards this vision over the next 30 to 50 years.
And all they got to do is force your change in behavior. You got to think different. Don't you realize that? You guys better get that. Yeah, damn it. Leave cities now. Exactly what I was thinking. This is why I will never leave Sumter, South Carolina. I love where I live. Small town, less than 60,000 people. Small town America is where it's at. If you're a big city person, no hate on you. But know that the bigger the city, the bigger the government, the more likely they are to jump on these types of, policies, to move in this totalitarian police state, spy state. If you haven't heard of Trapwire is literally facial recognition software that tracks you everywhere you go. They've already found Trapwire in New York and Los Angeles. This was when I was still in Anonymous. All right. So that long ago, they blew the lid on Trapwire when some of the members of Anonymous hacked FBI's InfraGard. They released the Trapwire documents. So we're talking, 15 years ago, at least 16, 17. This is a long time ago. I can only imagine the type of software they're using now to track everything you do and everywhere you go. Yeah, Sumter's great. I love my hometown. Never gonna leave. But this is hella creepy stuff, and this is we're at Shaw together. I was in the 78. Okay, there you go. Shaw Air Force Base. Yes, I live downwind of Shaw Air Force Base, and I think I previously showed you guys pictures of the Shaw bombing range and electronic warfare range that's in my hometown. There's that, but yeah, now they have nose hair recognition. Calistoga refried. Nose hair recognition. That's going to be the new thing. They're as unique as a fingerprint, don't you know? And I know I'm probably in this. This is going to be one of these videos where it's probably, now that I've played this, the music playing in the background of those clips. This is from BitChute. So, hey, you know how them's the break. So if this video disappears, know that it's on my BitChute, my Rumble, my Odyssey. You can go to ClimateViewer.com. Links to my BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey are there. So if this video disappears from YouTube, you'll know why. And that's because one of these New World Order copyright trolls grabbed this video because I showed you this video just now. But them's the breaks. So I will be live streaming to other places than just YouTube in the near future.
What happens when a group of the world's greatest minds gifted with wealth beyond our imagination buys a sprawling waterfront property in Toronto? They make plans for a $14.3 billion futuristic city, that's what. Sidewalk Labs released its Master Innovation and Development plans to turn a chunk of Toronto's Lake Ontario shoreline into the most futuristic city in the world. It would result in over 93,000 jobs and a better standard of living for its residents. Alphabet, an umbrella company that includes Google and Sidewalk Labs, is now creating the world's first smart city in Toronto, Canada. It seeks to provide technological solutions to improve citizens' lives. There will be two key areas. Quayside, which is along the shorelines of Lake Ontario and features houses, shops, and offices. The first office here, of course, will be Google's. The second area is the River District, an area of 152 acres featuring 5 neighborhoods surrounding the Don River. Now, on the housing front, there's a plan for a collection of new mixed-use buildings up to 30 stories tall. The project would cost around $3.9 billion and would use massed timber and modular components made in a local factory owned by Sidewalk Labs. To get around, the city will have a $1.2 billion light rail extension, which would connect the neighborhoods to mass transit before the new residents.
Oh, yeah. And Geoengineering Free Canada is in chat. Can't even post Jim's website and Facebook in Canada anymore. In case you guys don't know about that, they passed some new legislation up in Canada, and they're basically like completely cracking down on all the Silicon Mafia's things. Freedom of speech is dying everywhere. And shout out to Up in CT. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for your work. In case you get a strike. Hopefully it's not a strike. It'll probably be a copyright claim, but hell, it's worth it at this point, you know? this is a great video. I hadn't seen these clips. I knew about the things, but I figured we'd talk about the things, especially with, you know, what's going on with all these wildfires and, you know, disaster capitalism, the World Economic Forum swearing they're going to take over everything on the planet. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. In fact, we'll build you smart cities where you will not be allowed to own a car. We will literally charge you by the pound for your trash. We will track every damn thing you do. Oh, also brought to you by Alphabet, aka Google, the same people that are probably going to strike this video after I'm done.
Residents move in. It would cut down on the need for residents to own a car, and it would be safe and affordable. Canada is known for its somewhat overwhelming winters. You've heard the jokes. Well, the hyper-local weather sensors would detect an oncoming snowstorm and heat up the snow-melting pavements. It would keep the streets...
Barb Reynolds. Dane Wigington blocked my comments on his channel. I tell him to come here and do lives with you, LMAO. Yeah, Barb, that's not going to happen. In fact, you might find this a little bit funny. Let's go here. I'm just stoking some shit at this point. Let's go, everybody. What's the no? Well, no, is it? I put it on my ClimateViewer one. Is that where I put it? ClimateViewer, twitter.com/ClimateViewer. Oh, what's this? Dane Wigington, Real Geoengineering Watch, not followed by anyone you're following. You're blocked. I said somebody's panties are in a wad. So yeah, if I go to @Real Geoeng Watch on Twitter, there's Darth Wigington. You're blocked. What you scared of, Dane? I mean, bro, like really? On Twitter? Like, what are you scared I'm gonna tweet you? And I only found out about, X.com. This is X.com now. It's not Twitter anymore. What are you, a boomer? But man, like, I couldn't believe that one. There was a thread going, and you know, I'm looking at this thread, and it involves Kali Furies, who is an OG Anon like myself. So she's from Anonymous, and she runs Op Chemtrails. Okay, so it's #Op Chemtrails. If you guys want to check her out on Twitter or X.com, Kali Furies is dealing with this fool. And basically, like, I'm watching this go down. Was it mentions? Where's it at? Yeah, I'm watching this thing go down, and like, I noticed that I'm in the same tweet thread that's mentioning Dane, and I hadn't even noticed because, you know, I don't even I got X'd by Dane. Yeah, pretty much. Like, bruh, so scared. Like, so damn scared. Where the hell is it? Wow, I get way too many things on here. Okay, I'm gonna give up, but it's in here somewhere. No. It's way down there, obviously, because either that or I just zoomed by it and didn't see it. But yeah, I didn't. Oh, there's Echoplex. Look, we're back to June 27th. We must have gone too far. I did go on a show. We showed that the other day, but that's Gay Dave from Echoplex. We had a great conversation. Anyway, so basically there was this conversation going on. You know what? I know how to find it. I can figure out how to work this damn thing, because it would be in my tweets and replies. So these are the lasers that people were claiming that these are the lasers that started the Maui fire. This picture was going around, but it was actually bright green laser lines shoot across night sky in Hawaii. It was earlier in the year, had nothing to do with that. This is actually a video of the lasers being fired. I don't know if you guys can see that. Pretty neat, right? So if you see this one and people are saying, this is proof of the lasers that started the fire in Maui, they're full of shit. Moving on. Let's see. Well, damn. Am I logged? Oh, I'm logged. No wonder I can't find it. I'm logged in as the wrong person. You're a derp. I am derp. That's why. I apologize. Lord, I apologize. We go TweetDeck. Easier way. Because then I can just switch. So it would be ClimateViewer news. And then you can actually see the thing I'm talking about. I feel so silly right now. I feel very, very, very silly. Let's see if I can actually find it in a decent amount of time, because this is really dragging out and I need to get back to the video, because this is stupid tangential things. Well, should be right about here. There's Mike Olinger. No, it was before that. Yep, this is it. So there's this dude who is basically saying, can we bring this up to like full screen? Yeah. I'm not sure really what's going on with the sky. It's clear here today, but it's not blue. Does anybody know anything about fires in Alaska at the moment? Why is the sky white or gray now? No blue sky. It used to be when I was a kid. This is that geoengineering I've been talking about. This is what geoengineering actually looks like, everybody. Not them clouds. It's the whitening of the sky. That was the whole point all this time. So Kali Fury's right here. And you can see that it's KAL1_Furies, who runs Op Chemtrails. Says you might want to check out ClimateViewer or Op Chemtrails. So you guys can check that out. I'll throw the tweet in chat. See, I told you I wasn't making this up, but this is how I found out. So then of course, some dude came back with, listen to Real GeoEng Watch weekly updates. I do. Thank you very much. And, it went on. Anyway, so I guess it was a response to this, possibly, where the dude, yeah. So Canadian Uprising said, Jim is controlled opposition. His site is a waste of time. The other day, he actually said that they are manipulating the weather, but they're not. This is how dumb people are. They're manipulating the weather, but they're not. This was, for those who don't know, I made a video about control versus modification. Understanding the difference between the terms, the semantics of weather control versus weather modification. They can modify the weather. They cannot control the weather. They are gambling with your weather. Watch the videos on my channel. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's not for nefarious reasons. I can't stand listening to him. All the paid trolls just disdain on his posts. If I'm a paid troll, then I'm doing it wrong, because damn, bro, I wish I was a paid troll at this point. That would be nice. Anyway, so Callie handles this pretty well. Number one, controlled opposition used Dane versus Jim debate to create conflict within the geoengineering activist community. It's a tool and distraction. Number two, you've done exactly what you described, Ray. Trolls and Dane butting into a thread just to rubbish someone. Time to take a look in the mirror. I find Dane gives us real information. That's how I learned about what's in chemtrails. He also let us know about the graphene oxide in the rain. Bro, I am so face palming at this point. He explained how they use NEXRAD towers to manipulate the jet streams in storms. NEXRAD radar cannot manipulate the jet stream. The graphene oxide in the rain, I made an entire video about that as well. Also, bullshit. He had a whistleblower on, and Harold Say pointed it out to me that the guy wasn't saying shit. So I made a video about graphene rain, also on my channel. Watch it. This Canadian uprising guy is literally just stoking some bullshit on the Twitters. Anyway, I find researching all of the available information from sources I agree with and do not agree with is the best way to make up an informed decision. Loved that, liked that. Cali Furies. The day we all agree is the day we could all be wrong. You should always take my information and then take it with a grain of salt and do your own research. Be an adult, okay? True, I agree. I still check in on Jim Lee. Whatever he says is not true. I know to be true. Okay. I mean, you're totally welcome to that opinion. You know that if I say something is whatever he says is not true is true. So I just told you, NEXRAD radar cannot control the jet stream. So this idiot would go, then that means NEXRAD radar can control the jet stream. This is the logic these people use. You got to love that, right? I'm not buying into your who is better debate or your attempted smear campaign. Is this a debate? What do you think about the graphene oxide found in our rain and vaccines? And then I saw this. You are unable to view this tweet because this account owner limits who views their tweets. So that's what I was like, huh? Like twitter.com real geoengineering watch. And that's when I opened it up and went, oh, that's because Dane freaking blocked me. I didn't even know. So like, I was just dying laughing at that point. So I literally took a screenshot and, just put it on there. And I, of course I had to get my 2 cents in. So to summarize the end of this thread, I said to the thread op, the sky is white due to geoengineering from commercial aviation ice haze. And I linked to Chuck Long saying exactly that from NOAA's Earth Systems Research Lab. And I said, P.S. Dane blocked me, LOL. So, that's just how it goes. Lifted Above said this in chat just now. I looked into NEXRAD and cyclotron, I think that's what you meant to write. Cyclotron technology back when I watched Weather War 101 channel. Seemed plausible, except it was never explained from a scientific means how such could be possible. Now that's true. The problem with Weather War 101 and before him, Dutch Sense, was that they were making this, this Dutch Sense called them HARP rings, and he was the one who made them popular. And I, obviously had a very famous beef with Dutch Sense back in 2010 through 2012. Won't really get into the details of that other than I tried to convince Dutch that it would be wise to stop calling them HARP rings. Since there's only one HARP, it's in Alaska, and these are NEXRAD radars. So call them NEXRAD rings, or call them Doppler rings, or radar rings, or radar anomalies. Anything but HARP rings, because I talk about HARP, and it's kind of tough whenever you're calling them HARP rings. Suddenly everybody seems to think that every radar on the planet is a HARP. Now, if you hear Dutch Sense today and he mentions HARP rings, he will say, you know, I called them HARP rings. And even he will go, but they're not really HARP rings. So he's corrected himself since then. Let's just put it that way. So kudos to Dutch Sense for finally stopping calling them HARP rings. But that's where this all initiated. And then Weather War 101 took my map of that I created of all of the NEXRAD radar stations and the Joint Surveillance System and the Terminal Doppler Weather Radars, the TDWRs. He downloaded them from my ClimateViewer 3D and then started using them in his videos. Of course, no credit to who created the map that he was using. And if you go to Weather War 101's YouTube channel and you go back to the very beginning, that's what all of his videos were about till he finally realized what he was saying was completely freaking wrong. That's when he switched from talking about NEXRAD radars to wet surface air coolers. So even Dutch Sense, even Weather War 101, after pushing it for years, finally realized there's no there, and this is kind of stupid. So maybe I should stop saying it. Dane, however, has no shame whatsoever. Shameless Wigington is now jumped on the NEXRAD can control the jet stream narrative. I saw a video like shared just recently, and it had a NEXRAD radar in the preview, and I just went, I'm not even going to listen to it, because if I do, I'm going to react to it. I'm going to play the whole damn video, and it's going to be like Dutch Sense all over again. It's going to be like Weather War 101 all over again. I'm sick to death about talking about, you know, freaking NEXRAD radars. Oh my God. But yeah, tangent over.
It's clear for pedestrians and cyclists, as well as autonomous delivery robots. It's all going to be connected, heavily monitored, and pretty much self-regulating. Wi-Fi would be available for everyone throughout the city for free, and sensors around the area would collect data on the energy usage, traffic patterns, and much, much more to ensure you as a resident lead the most comfortable life possible. What's more, the city is going to be climate positive, aka netting a sub-zero carbon footprint. But we already expected that, right? In Toronto, Sidewalk Labs shows a picture of a world with intelligent pay-as-you-throw garbage chutes that separate your plastic from papers.
Pay-as-you-throw trash compactors that separate your stuff out. Pay-as-you-throw. We got such a littering problem as it is now, and these technocrats really believe that people are going to live in a smart city. Well, I guess you wouldn't have an option because there would be cameras everywhere. And as they'll state later in the video, like literally every single piece of pavement can track your every step, even if you don't have a phone. So you won't have an option to even litter. You'll literally have to put money in a machine to pay for your trash that you're throwing away. I mean, I think George Orwell would watch this and go, damn, that's worse than what I thought of. Like, I didn't think big enough. Like, holy crap.
For you. The city would charge households by waste, and apps would tell residents when chairs on the waterfront were open, so residents can get approvals for block party permits. In addition, traffic signals will auto-calibrate to ease pedestrian congestion during public events and rush hours. The director of Sidewalk Labs, Eric Jaffe, was primarily responsible for this impressive proposal. He expects, or rather hopes, that more cities around the world will pick up on this blueprint and use it for themselves. One of those ideas is for a factory-built housing. It helps developers complete their projects reliably, on time, and at a lower cost. Critique and government approval. Before all that, though, government officials have to scrutinize and approve Sidewalk Lab's master plan. Or not. And don't expect the process to be a snap. Some of the major elements of the project have shifted over time, and so have the targets of the project's detractors. When Waterfront Toronto, the government-appointed nonprofit developer of Toronto's Eastern Shore, chose Sidewalk Labs to plan their smart city development, the most controversial point of the plan was the idea that a Google sister company planned to harvest data in public space. Over time, Sidewalk Labs was criticized for not revealing how they would use the data and who would control it. And
who's going to get all that data? I mean, seriously, think about it. What's up, Dom? I'm going to read, I don't even know what he said. And they have cameras in China that can see through masks, so you couldn't even cloak yourself with a fake mask. That is true. However, let me see if I could, man, this reminds me of a thing. God, what was it like? Traditional facial tattoos disrupt face recognition processes. Now, I know face tattoos aren't exactly popular, but it's not even tattoos. There was a different thing where it's like they had like these stickers that you could put on your face. And yeah, like this. How to stop facial recognition cameras from monitoring you. And they have all these different ways of, just screwing with that by putting like this. Being able to just block, if there are so many different techniques that you can use. This guy with the Minecraft helmet. God, I wish I could find that original article, but I mean, these are some of the things that people are doing. These clothes and accessories outsmart facial recognition tech. So it's happening. It's already happening. There is a pushback. You can buy certain things that can trick the algorithms. Of course, with artificial intelligence, it'll start to get even stronger. But you can beat facial recognition right now. This is it. This is the one I was looking for. So these are, let me see if I can find the original article, because it's called Modern Digital Camouflage. But you can see the picture here. This is what I was talking about. So just these simple markings. Good Lord. Come on. These simple black and white markings can beat facial recognition software as it is right now. So people are coming up with ingenious ways to do it. And I think that's amazing.
For a while there, the Canadian Civil Liberties Association sued the government to stop the project. So sure, Sidewalk Labs dreamt of making a section of Toronto a future...
No, Lancelot, not masks again. Like, literally, like, I mean, think of it more like henna tattoos, or, face paint, or literally like war paint, or, like sticky vinyls. So you could get like, vinyls that have different diagonal lines that throw off what your face looks like. Completely legal. Nothing anybody can do about it. Retina scans is a whole nother thing. Don't even go there with me, Willie. Fix it. Willie's like
futuristic city, the likes of which we've only ever seen in science fiction. But skeptics saw a darker side. Thousands of cameras monitoring streets and data from every household being taken and used. This was one among many things their CEO, Sundar Pichai, had to testify about when he was called to Congress and pretty much grilled for 3.5 hours. For those reasons, and perhaps others, the Sidewalk Toronto project was abandoned in May of 2020 to give way for a new kind of city. As exciting as the new city would have been, we still lost the chance to have an internet-first community, which promised affordable internet and precise data on our carbon footprint and consumption to live more sustainable lifestyles. We lost a fully integrated transport system, social housing, 93,000 jobs, and finally, a green city initiative. But bigger things are to come. The new city in Toronto. Now, Quayside will have a new, different kind of development. The government called for proposals when Google and Toronto parted ways, and these new plans seem to center on affordability, low-carbon design, and an emphasis on local and minority-owned businesses instead of what some have called a dystopian nightmare. There's a lot to be done. So far, the plans only include glossy renderings of wooden skyscrapers and the integration of elements of Lake Ontario into parks and recreational areas. But one thing's for sure, it won't be a Google smart city. Would you want to live in a Google city? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and check out more on the Simply Tech channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
So, I mean, that's what it looks like. And I understand the youth are going to think that that's cool because they think all that stuff's fancy and cool. They have no idea. They're like, wow, a flying car or a bike, I can get everywhere in 15 minutes. Oh, and it's going to be all people like me. And yeah, they're going to eat each other alive, first of all. But it's going to be, I mean, it is going to be an absolute dystopian city. And they know that they're going to be able to lure the liberals in. Oh, guess what? We have Planned Parenthood here. You can come here. Your body is, you could use your body however you want in this city. Oh, you're LGB. Oh, come to our city. You're accepted here. We have Pride every month. Oh, great. Get them in, trap them in. That's what they're going to do.
Mark brings up a great comment in chat real quick. This, for those who don't realize, I'm not this, everybody always, compares me and Dane. There's no comparing me and Dane, but I don't just talk about geoengineering and weather control. I talk about pollution, privacy, and propaganda. This is the privacy part, like big time. And what Mark just said was, let me see if I can get it up here on the screen. And there we go. I'd love to know if you've looked at Google's Web Environment Integrity Initiative. Chrome and remote servers will attest to your private access token even make HTTP requests. Interestingly enough, a lot of people assume that they're private when they're on the internet because go get yourself some cheap sunglasses. Dun, 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 dun. These were not cheap. I usually keep what are these? These are cheap sunglasses. They look cool. So that's all that matters. People think that because they're on Tor or they're on a VPN or something like that, that they're completely secure, like they're untraceable. But Google, especially, whenever you're on that VPN, if you're stupid enough to use Google Chrome can access all of your cookies that were already there. It can access your MAC address. Your MAC address is a unique identifier for your, local area network card, your LAN card, or if you're using Wi-Fi for your Wi-Fi card. So the MAC address is unique. Now, you can use something called MAC spoofing. I shouldn't bring this up on the screen, but you can spoof your MAC address. Okay. So you can actually, inject a fake MAC address to get around that. But they're trying to make it harder and harder for you to use things like Brave Browser and AdBlock Plus and Ghostery so that you're not getting these cookies that are tracking everything you do at all times. And even if you have a VPN like ExpressVPN, that they can still track you. So like if you go to any website that has social media links on it, like say you go to an article and it has like us on Facebook and you can click that like button, or if they have like Facebook comments at the bottom of the page, Facebook has just now installed a tracking device on your computer through a cookie. The same is true with anything Google. So many websites use Google Fonts, or they use Google Analytics. I'm going to show you a little trick. So what I did with ClimateViewer.com, because, you know, you do want to be able to use fonts, but you don't want to, you don't want basically Google to be able to track everything you do. So what I did was this. I went and got all of the Google fonts, and then I put them into my theme folder, into my CSS fonts folder right here. So what I did was I downloaded all of the Google fonts for Lato font. And then whenever I include them like this. Okay. So I'll blow it up real big. So what I've done now is I've stolen the Google fonts, and I'm not downloading them directly from Google. Every time you come to my website, you're not downloading them from Google anymore. Okay? Because I don't want, and I'm using, in this case, I'm using Roboto, which is like the default Android font, if you don't know that. So my website uses that. But I don't want to slow down you coming to the website either. So I've got every version of Google font, Roboto, downloaded locally to my server, served from my server, not Google's. Because what I found in the past was Google was actually stopping people from being able to come to ClimateViewer.com and see my website. And the way they were doing it was they would come to, basically, let me see if I can bring this up. I may have left a link to it in the head. So you go to base of, you come down here, and this is what it would normally look like right here. So you would have fonts.googleapis.com, pre-connect to Google Fonts, fonts.gstatic.com, family, integer, enter, PT serif, all of this stuff, the different weights. So almost every website on the internet uses Google Fonts. If they don't use Google Fonts, they're using Google Analytics. Anytime you go to the website, this is loaded before the fold. So this is in the head of the website. The head is the top of the web page. It's what's loaded first. So if the head doesn't load, then suddenly Google can stop you from seeing the website at all. So what I did was I wrote an ingenious little code where I downloaded all the Google fonts, and then I wrote a JavaScript to basically, on document ready, when the document is ready and everything is downloaded and you can see my page, switch from monospace font to, at the very bottom here, body add class G font. And it's very simple. So, I'm actually going to write something up for the programmers of the world, because a lot of people have been facing the same problem. So you'll be able to go into here, and then you come over here to the CSS and you type in G font, and what do you see is body, font family, monospace. So while the web page is loading up, use any font you have on your computer. When the page is completely loaded, on the very last line of my JavaScript, add the class G font to the body. And now, what have I done? I have magically replaced it like so. Now, body.g font, body with a class of G font, font family, Roboto. It now uses all these fonts that I downloaded from Google, and Google can no longer block my website. They can't slow me down. Now, that was very techie. Okay. That was very nerdy. That's the hacker side of Jim that most people don't get to see. The point I'm trying to make is this. When he's talking about all the shenanigans that Google goes through, you don't understand what web developers go through in creating these websites. And when you have Google fonts, when you have Google Analytics, and Google does not want people to be able to come to your website, all they have to do is stop you from seeing the website for 5 seconds. And the statistic out there is something like 90% of people, if they do not see your website load within the first 3 seconds, hit the back button. So if Google wants to censor your website, all they got to do is say, we got a request from ClimateViewer.com to load these fonts. And let's just stall that for a couple seconds. And I noticed this happening over and over again. So finally, I came up with this solution to just basically steal the fonts from Google, put them on my local hard drive, then put them on my local server, and then load them after my website's loaded. These are the kind of crap that, that Google's doing just on the web. They own the entire web. From between Google Analytics and Google Fonts, you cannot go to a website that does not use one or the other. And that's why they track all the things everywhere. So I could play the rest of this video. He goes through the Maui stuff. I'm gonna let you guys. They want to hand out the keys to everyone and take the key away based on whatever metrics you want. Use any ad block. Take away your key. You visited ClimateViewer.com. Take away your key. Yes. And that's also with like the whole DNSSEC thing that's going on. We're going to get, Mark, we're going to get really too complicated for most people to get. Like, I appreciate what you're saying. Like, I could talk, me and you could have this conversation for probably the next hour just about that, and I would weenie out with you, but we'd lose like everybody, bro. I mean, it's just a fact. So, I didn't put this in the details, but you guys check the video out. The rest of it, I'll save the rest for him. This was on Facts Over Fear 2012 on 2022 on YouTube on BitChute. It actually says Facts Over Fear 2021 here. But I'll put the link in the in the comments right here. So y'all bookmark that, watch the rest of the video. We watched about half of it, but now you get the idea. Yeah, 15-minute cities, Google run, spying on everything, disaster capitalism. You'll own nothing and be happy for it. Yeah, there's a pattern, and it's pretty obvious. I think we all can see that. So that brings us to the end of the video, and a lot of people were asking me about. Yeah, I think the last I mentioned, I've been going through some pretty severe migraines. And that's why, y'all gave me a good excuse to put the sunshades on, because now that I've been on this light for a good 4 hours today, and LED lights hell on the eyeballs, especially when you have migraines. I went for an MRI last Thursday. They were going to MRI my brain and my spine. So I drove an hour to the hospital. I took the day off from work. I got to the hospital. 20 minutes before I got to the hospital, they said, somebody tried to text me on the hospital's app saying, "We're from the financial department. Please contact us immediately." And I'm going, you got to be kidding me. Like, what's going on here? So, of course, I tried to call them, no answer, go inside. Long story short, they're like, your insurance denied paying for the MRI. Both MRIs. She's like, would you like to pay in cash or credit? And I looked at her and I said, this was $9,600. You think I have $9,600? Yeah, they wanted to do the pay first and hope that insurance would pay for it later, which was a big fat no. So I said, okay, well, they basically said that my new doctor didn't go ahead, and those who are asking about my light, I have my light set to 2700 Kelvin. So I've got it about as red as I can get it. As cool, I don't want blue light. I've got it as red spectrum as possible without like turning the whole freaking room red. But it's still, it's still hell on the eyes because it's a freaking LED. What are you going to do? I see you guys. Anyway, so they basically were making the argument that she should have ordered some x-ray, at least certain number of x-rays before sending me to do an MRI. So anyway, long story short, didn't happen. So then I go down to the dentist. All right. So now I've driven to Florence. That's an hour. Then it's an hour back. I hang out with my wife at the house, tell her, how shitty everything went that morning. And I'm like, well, I have nothing new, to tell you because I don't know what the results would have been. But we've still got these, we've still got these migraines to deal with. So then we get to part 2 of my problem, which has been, I have been in severe pain in my lower jaw for at least a year now. And I've may have told you guys in the past, I have no molars. I lost my front teeth in the top. And I literally have like 3 teeth in the top and maybe 5 in the bottom. And my 2, canines are so badly infected that this one's going to crack at any moment and I won't even be able to wear my partial. So I got word that there was this dentist down in Charleston who might be able to help me from a person, who is a longtime ClimateViewer follower. She lives down in, near Charleston. And she said, go talk to this dentist. He's done charity work in the past. Maybe he says he's going to help you out. I get down there, 2-hour drive now. So now I've, been on the road 2 hours going to Florence and back. Nothing happened there. 2 hours driving down to Charleston. He does an, inspection of my mouth, basically says all the things I already know. Fix the cavities in the 5 teeth I have in the top and just rip all 5 of the bottom ones out. And I need 2 implants. And he takes it a step further. He says, these are so badly infected. I don't know. He's like, are you in pain? And I'm like, yes. He's like, how much pain? And I was like, I have pretty high pain tolerance, but I just generally ignore it. You know what I mean? He goes and says, well, you should probably go to Affordable Dentures, which is here in town, and they can do the implants, which of course I pull it up on my phone and I'm like, these guys literally want $9,000 to $14,000 to do what I already seen a dentist in my hometown. And they gave me a quote of $7,000 to roughly $11,000 to do 2 implants and then put a denture in that would be permanent. And I could take it out and in and whatever I need to. So I'm, after going through all this, now I've got to drive back 2 hours. So now I've been driving 6 hours on Thursday. I'm completely let down. I'm going, I am absolutely fucked. Okay. Like, what am I going to do? But I believe everything happens for a reason. And I'm sitting there going, well, what is the reason? Like, why has this happened? You didn't want to have an MRI to begin with. Okay. You just want your migraines to go away. You didn't want to ask for a handout, but you do want to, get your teeth fixed. And if the guy was offering nothing ventured, nothing gained, but he in the end offered absolutely nothing. So I'm sitting there riding back home completely, destroyed, going, I lost a day of work. I've been driving for 6 hours. I've run a full tank of gas out. So there goes another $55. And I had this aha moment, where I started thinking about, well, maybe it's not the surgery, and the nerve that I've been thinking about, which is why I was going to have the MRI to begin with, that basically your canines are also known as your eye teeth. And that because my canines are so badly infected, the eyes are connected to the back of the brain. So the optic nerve is connected to the back of the brain, which is where my headaches start before migrating to my eyes. And then I have this uncontrollable pain and I'm out, like I'm taking a Flexeril, I'm done for the day. And then so I think that the whole purpose of this learning experiment and this, pain that I went through was just to realize that maybe it's just my teeth that are giving me these migraines. And it actually makes a lot of sense. And then I started doing some research into it on the way home. And, I said, all right, look into this later. You're going to crash. But I'm convinced at this point that the problem, the headache problem that I've been having, I have a monster headache right now. It comes from how deeply infected the roots are on these two teeth. And just so you guys can see, that's, basically what I'm working with, okay? No shame in this game. I can still talk because I have teeth in the front. I just don't have any others. But the tooth that this is hanging on to.
Get you teeth fixed, my friend.
Thank you, Lancelot. Dude, I'm going to try to figure it out. But basically this one right here, if it breaks, I can't chew food anymore. I'm not a grinder. I don't have that problem. It's just that, I went through so much money, $2,500 for this partial, $2,500 for the top partial. I got all of my root canal teeth removed. I got all of the, fillings. They're all removed. So, and I got everything up to snuff, everything was looking good. And then suddenly both of my canines are completely black around the roots. And they had filled all the way around this tooth, rebuilt it with, whatever that stuff's called. Anyway, they tried to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, but now it's starting to split down the middle. The dentist down in Charleston told me, he said, even if that tooth breaks off, whatever you do not remove that, do not remove that tooth unless you put an implant in its place that day. Don't let them, try to put a temporary, like bone graft or something in there. Cause the dentist was here in Sumter was trying to say, well, for $1,400, we can go ahead and make you a denture and just stuff something in the hole till you can afford to get the 2 implants. And he said, no, that is wrong. That is wrong. It is wrong. Even if the tooth breaks off, just endure, get the money, get the implants. So now I'm in this scenario where, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I had several people suggest that I just put together like a GoFundMe or something, or a Gibson Go. And I might do that because I don't have any other option at this point. I have to get 2 freaking implants and get all of these teeth removed because they're all screwed. So that's the end of the story there. I'm pretty sure that the migraines will be gone after these deeply infected teeth are out of my mouth. And I will be able to, get back in mixed martial arts. And, I miss it. I'm just going to take my daughter. She's going to just fight, in the meantime, and I'm going to work out. But I want to be able to, get in there and mix it up, and I can't because one punch to the teeth right now and I'm screwed. Mouth guard or not, I'm screwed. So that's where we're at. I'm living with daily headaches, weekly migraines. There are weeks I don't have migraines. But yeah, I'll probably put something together, because, and I want to also say this, because I looked into it, and this is the part that also creeps me out. If I get the implants, at first I will have, just they have to implant the thing, and then they have to make a denture for the bottom, but it won't be attached to anything, and it's 3 to 6 months of healing before they actually go back in and put the rods to attach the denture to the the things. So there might be a period where you hear me talking a little funny and, my jaw is just doing some stupid crap. But, it's like the dentist said, he's like, dude, if you're a talker, like you say you are on YouTube, and you want, and you want to be able to do this, you cannot have a denture. Like a bottom denture is completely useless. My dad, who has one, he refuses to wear it. My cousin, who has one, he refuses to wear it. Then there's the bone loss issues. I'm only 46. Yeah, I don't want to be Grandpa Jim at 46 years old, but I seriously need to, get this handled as fast as humanly possible. So that's enough about me, I guess. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'll probably I'm going to look at Gibson Go versus GoFundMe, and whichever one takes the least amount of money, that's the one I'm going to choose, because you got to figure in whatever, a lot of people in chat are saying colloidal silver. My friend Christine, the one who wrote the book, Why Does the Moon Shine So Bright? I made the website for her. We were talking about what was going on. She actually purchased some colloidal silver from Amazon 2 days ago and sent it in the mail. So it's on the way here. So for everybody who's saying colloidal silver in chat, yeah, she said basically it's a spray that I can spray directly on my teeth, to hopefully cut down some of the inflammation. Yeah, I think Gibson Go takes less as well. And interestingly enough, Gibson Go does actually call you and pray for you. They had somebody, when I first set up my Gibson Go for ClimateViewer, just for as an alternative method for people to support the channel, somebody called me and literally prayed with me about what I'm doing, and all that. I've heard clove works as well, but the thing is, it's so deep in here. If I showed you guys, A, I would be embarrassed. B, you'd be grossed out. But down here along the gum line, it's bad. On the backside, especially, it's just a black hole on both sides. So yeah, I need to get some freaking implants. And see, and I've got such brain fog right now. I'm just kind of like rambling, because this is slightly embarrassing for me to even be talking about. But that being said, guys, I appreciate everybody who tunes in for these things. Yeah, I'm gonna get them pulled. I mean, I'm ready to have all these gone in the bottom. The top, they're still in really good shape. My partial up top is still fitting very tightly. I don't have any pain or infection in the top teeth, but the bottom is absolutely screwed. Amazon colloidal silver is a joke. She sent me the link, and I swear to you, it said there was a Prop 65 warning on it, the California thing, and it said that it had lead in it. So I don't know that I'm going to actually use what she's sending. But yeah, I'm going to look into using some colloidal silver just to, see if that cuts down on the infection, maybe some of the pain. Willie, I think we're all in the same boat. Like, everybody's broke right now, and oral health care is like the black hole armpit of American healthcare. Like, insurance companies don't cover shit. They never consider the fact that, as a person who has a family history of heart disease, having a rabid infection in your mouth that is plaque and bacteria that can lead to heart failure scares the shit out of me too. So I'm very much ready to just rip them out and be done with it. It's just like they said it would be somewhere between $7,000 to $11,000, depending on what type of graft they had to do, and that sort of thing. I got like this little sheet they gave me, and they were like, somewhere in this range. Here's the least amount. Here's the most amount, but you never know. And I don't got that kind of money. So for all those people that say I'm a paid shill, if I was a paid shill, I'd be out buying teeth right now. That's a promise. So maybe in the near future, maybe tomorrow, I'll put together a Gibson Go for that. And if you guys would like to support buying me a new grill, I would greatly appreciate it more than anything else. I've been in pain for far too long, and I'm ready to be out of it. Anybody who's been following me for a very long time knows what I went through with the Graves' disease thing. I had to have my thyroid removed. If you go back and you look at my videos from just 2 or 3 years ago, you'll see a Skeletor gem. So I've done a lot to get my health back in check, and this is like one of the last hurdles. So anybody that can help out with that would be greatly appreciated. That being said, I do love you guys, and I mean it. I appreciate everybody that hangs out with me here in these live chats. I do have something kind of exciting. I might be having Max Bliss on the next show. So I already talked to him. I said, Max, would you want to do a call in with me? He said, yeah. When do you want me to call? And I knew that today's show was completely going to be mostly about this Biolab thing. So next Sunday, I'm going to try to set up a Zoom call with the infamous, amazing Max Bliss. That will be absolutely epic. So hopefully I'm going to get that set up. It'll be my first setup of a Zoom call, where I actually have somebody on video calling in. So I'm going to figure out the technical hurdles to make that happen. But that will open the door to me doing more interviews with people, because there's so many cool people I know that I'd like to have discussions with on these shows. And I just feel it's just right that I have Max Bliss back for the first time in a very long time. So hopefully next week, Max Bliss on Sunday. There will be videos during the week. I'm going to keep that stuff up. When the Radovan interview and the Weaponized News interview come out, I may end up mirroring those as well, because we like to do that, that cross-pollination promotion. So if you see those videos show up here, there'll be links to Weaponized News and their original content. Same with Radovan in the Czech Republic, and then I might put together the whole Dane Wigington poo throwing contest from Republic Broadcasting Network, plus the call in that I did today. Just make an MP3 out of the whole thing and put that up for your audio pleasure. So that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm gonna go take a flex roll and crash on my freaking face. With information comes power. With power comes great responsibility. So please use the information that I provide to you on ClimateViewer.com, ClimateViewer.org, and at ClimateViewer on all the things to attack ideas, not people. If the video resonates with you, leave me a comment because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.